Welcome to OP Said. I'm Mel, and today we've got a bunch of Reddit stories that will have you on the edge of your seat.
I'm Marie, and there's so much drama to unpack.
And I May. Get comfy, grab a drink, and let's dive in. Okay, the first story is coming from Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for telling my dad's parents that I don't want them at my graduation when they said I wasn't their real grandson? In November, my, 18 Mel, dad's parents and my mum got into an argument because they mentioned they said they decided to start a college fund for my brother, 11 Mel. It wasn't even brought up. They just decided to share it on their own. My mum was confused since they mentioned it out of the blue, but thanked them. She asked them why they decided to make one and why they brought it up. They said something about wanting to do it for their grandson and making sure he's set so he doesn't have to worry about paying for college. My mum then asked if they had started one for me, and they said I wasn't their real grandson, so the answer was no, and they didn't have one for me. They added something about how I'd get something else and accused my mum of expecting too much. For context, my dad adopted me when I was 5. He started dating my mum when I was 2. I don't know my biological father personally, but I know of him. He died when I was 3, and my mum told me he wasn't a good person and was in and out of jail. My dad is the only dad I've ever known, and I always thought his parents accepted me. But hearing them basically say I wasn't their real grandson hurt. It wasn't even about the money. It was the fact that I was excluded, and realising the only reason why was because I wasn't my dad's biological son. The argument happened right in front of my brother, just a few days before Thanksgiving. Since then, I've viewed my dad's parents differently and tried to keep my distance from them. They eventually apologised for saying I wasn't their real grandson, but only because my dad basically forced them to. Over time, I realised I didn't really care anymore, but I just loved them more than they loved me. School is almost back in, and I take senior pictures soon. My dad's parents are over for Christmas, and my parents brought up me taking pictures. That led to my dad's parents talking about how excited they were to see me graduate and how they couldn't wait. This confused me. It honestly did, because a month ago they basically told me I wasn't their real grandson. Now they're excited to see their grandson graduate. I told them that they weren't coming and that I didn't want them there. Of course, this shocked my parents and my dad's parents. They asked why, and I told them I remember them saying I wasn't their real grandson, so it doesn't make sense for them to come to my graduation when they have no ties to me. My dad looked upset, and his parents were too. His parents basically said I should move on since they'd already apologised and meant no harm. I told them that when they apologised, it was only because my dad told them to. After that, it got awkward. This happened during Christmas, and I haven't seen them since. My dad told me they're hurt by what I said and that I should apologise and let them know I didn't mean it and that I'd still like them to come. I told him I meant what I said and I don't want them there. It's not like I can stop them from coming anyway, but I'd prefer if they didn't, since they have no reason to be there. He says their feelings are hurt. It's honestly embarrassing to think that they've been my grandparents my whole life, only to find out they didn't even think of me as their grandson.
Yeah.
My mum says she agrees with me, but thinks I should consider my dad's feelings, since this puts him in a hard position and wants everyone to be family. I'm not trying to hurt my dad, but I just don't want his parents at my graduation when I just found out they didn't accept me. Top comment. Not the arsehole. The fact that they said that, never mind in front of you, is outrageous. There are consequences for actions and words, and they're upset they have to face them. What do you think?
But I'm really, really proud of the fact that he addressed it and said, I don't want you there.
Yeah.
So the thing about old elderly people is they think they can say words and get away with them. And their little dead apology should be, forgiven because they didn't really mean it. You meant it. Because the reason why we know you meant it is because you're only saving money for the one grandchild that you consider yours. So why should you get the benefits of going to my graduation or anything when you're actually treating me like I'm not your grandchild? You've let me know where I stand, and I'm going to keep moving in that direction. So kudos to you. I don't think he's got anything to apologize for. And please, Dad, accept his feelings.
Yeah.
because
What
you don't know what that did to him. It's already the fact. Adopted children seem to have, well, he might not be one of those people, but adopted children seem to have like feelings of detachment from family sometimes, especially when they don't know their own family and stuff like that. They seem to have extra baggage sometimes. So already being outcasted by a member of your family, it's not cool what they did. So yeah, I think they deserve everything they get, personally.
before he goes and apologizes, I want to know if there's a college fund in his name, absolutely. because then that'll really show me if I am your grandchild or not. Because clearly that's what they do for their
Yeah.
grandkids, right? They have a
Yeah.
college fund. If I don't have a college fund, I'm not apologizing, because then what you're saying to me is you apologize because your son made you, but there were no actions that followed after that. Like literally, it like nothing changed. If it was, I'm only gonna create a college fund for the 11-year-old versus for OP, and then even after the apology, even after you were corrected, even after your son spoke to you, no college fund was set up for OP. Yeah. That means he is not your grandchild, and so therefore he has every right to say, I don't want you there. And do you know what, OP? Good. I'm really glad that you said what you said, and that also you're not changing your mind on it. It is what it is. I really like that, because do you know what? Old people they rarely encounter young people who are brave enough to say how they feel I stand on and business. stand on it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so proud of the 18-year-old, because honestly, I'm telling you right now, at even 21, I didn't have the strength that he had to be able to be that decisive and be bold enough to say that to his parents and his grandparents. That is strength. So, not the asshole at all. Your what what your grandparents did is just, it's, as a top comment says, that is outrageous. Like, and it was volunteered, as he said as well, volunteered information, and ultimately it's excluding. It makes him feel like he's not good enough. Like it'll bring up all sorts of horrible feelings. And do you know what? As top comment says, there's cause and effect. Yeah. Honestly, you said this. This is what happens. If you feel that way, this is now how we have to move forward. As in, I'm not your grandson.
See, even if there is a college fund, you said what you said. That's how you really feel. The money's not
Yeah.
going to make me feel any better. So absolutely not. This is how you feel about me.
Every
You've
time.
never
It's
felt
true.
that I was your grandchild. And that's A-okay, as long as you also now accept that I don't see you as my grandparents. You can't now be like, oh my God, I'm so offended. Why are you offended? Because I now feel about you. We are now at a draw. You feel about me the way you feel about me. I also feel the same about you.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. And I hate that. I hate that people always get caught off guard as if things weren't said to lead to that instant. What are you surprised about?
And to be honest,
You
if he
apologise.
actually recollected his entire engagement with his grandparents,
Yeah.
he would actually realise that they'd always treat him that way. They'd always treat him as not their grandkid, but kind of their grandkid. I promise you, like sometimes it takes for you to sit back and realise,
Yeah.
oh, your sibling experienced this from the grandparents, but you experienced that. So it's like, I guarantee that they always felt that way. They said what they said. Unfortunately, he did hear it, but that's how they really feel. And so, do you know what, OP? Good for you. Good for you. Do you know what? I'm really glad as well that his mum is on his side and she understands, because honestly, what's happening here is double standards. And you know why?
Because they're older.
Parents, oh, thank
It's
you.
because they're older. They're
Adult
given
and
grace.
child. Literally, I'm telling you right now, the dynamics of an older person compared to a younger person always comes into play. Like, an adult can sadly get away with like so much. And when a child tries to reciprocate, share their feelings, they're always dismissed. And like, that's what his dad is doing as well, unfortunately. Like, his dad needs to understand that even if you don't agree with it, unfortunately, your parents, his grandparents, started it. And this is how they made him feel. So therefore, respect how he's moving and how he chooses to view them going forward.
But I also, even though you're saying that the mum is on his side, not really, because she's also using that to say, yeah, but think about your dad. You don't have to think about anybody.
No.
Why does he have to do anything?
No, but he is in the middle though. She is right. She said, just consider your dad. Like she never said that he has to take it back.
Yeah, but consider
She
your
ju-
dad for what?
Like that it's going to strain his relationship with his grandparents. Unfortunately, Marie, that is just family. That's a domino effect. Like, I get why the mum's saying that, like, and that's fine. I don't think she's doing anything wrong there, because that's also now, remember, there's now a strain between her and the son and the husband, because she understands why her son said what he said, and she supports him. However, like, she's now stuck between her son and her husband. The husband's now stuck between her grandparents and his son. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's domino effects everywhere.
Everyone
So
can
I
go to
get
hell.
it. I hear that. But at the same time, honestly, Marie, I'm telling you right now, thank God he's got one parent on side. Like, that does matter. It helps. It really
No,
does.
I understand that. I just think whenever my feelings are not considered, to hell with everything. Like, that's just, I think before I'm quite a like, oh, you know, my feelings don't matter. But once I woke up and realized that when you're that sort of person, your feelings go unnoticed. Full stop. No one ever thinks about you. Now I'm just like,
What's
everyone
that,
can go
as
to
a
hell.
people pleaser?
Yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
people pleaser and you're like, okay, I'll take, you keep taking these
Yeah.
shots, people are always going to be like, well, you're so nice. It's okay. You end up just being this person that takes hit after hit after hit. No, I'm not going to do anything for anyone. We can all be awkward. Let's live in that for a while, because people don't live with their consequences, because there's always someone that's taking the brunt of it. Nah, to hell with that. Sorry.
We know as much as 96% of you that view our content don't actually subscribe. So if you could subscribe, it'll help us so much more than you know. And if you really enjoy our content, we're also on Instagram and TikTok at OPZ Podcast. Follow and subscribe. Okay, my story comes from Truth Off My Chest. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. Crazy. So, I'm still processing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Last night, I woke up and realised someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut and the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulders. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleepwalked or something. But no. I confronted my husband Tim because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he drops this bombshell. My mum, she might have done it. Apparently, my mother-in-law, let's call her Diane, is convinced I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week she saw me having lunch with a co-worker. For the record, the co-worker, Kyle, is gay, and we were literally talking about work. But Diane decided I must be having an affair, and instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands on my hair. She's insane. This morning, I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, and when I pressed her, she literally said, well, maybe now you think twice before humiliating my son. Whoa. I was fuming. I told her Carl isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, that's what they all say. I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I want to go no contact with her, but Tim is stuck between me and his mum, and I feel like this is going to be a huge blow up in our marriage. Any advice? Because I'm honestly at a loss here. Edit. My husband and I will be going to my mother-in-law tomorrow to talk to her about the situation again. Hopefully everyone will be calmed down by then and I won't have to threaten legal action. Thank you for all the support and suggestions. I will keep them in mind. Edit 2, to everyone saying this is fake. I don't know how to make you believe me, and honestly, I shouldn't have to. I'm sitting here crying in my friend's guest room, completely broken, trying to make sense of how my life has fallen apart in the span of 24 hours. My husband, the person I thought I could trust the most, betrayed me in the most humiliating way possible. His mum violated me in my sleep, and now strangers are telling me my pain isn't real. I wish with everything in me that this wasn't real. I wish I wasn't sitting here trying to figure out how to rebuild my life, how to ever trust someone again, or how to even face the people around me after this. I've barely eaten. I've been shaking all day. And I feel like my world is crumbling beneath me. I turned to Reddit because I didn't know where else to go. I needed advice, a sense of support, something to help me hold myself together. But these accusations, they're just making me feel even more alone. If you can't believe me, fine. But please don't make this harder than it already is. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. What do you guys think? Poor girl.
It's just a little bit weird how the husband said my mum. That's the only thing I've got to say about
Right.
that, because if I if I said to you guys, I woke up this morning, I have no hair, you're not gonna be like, T's mum. That's not gonna be the first thing that comes to mind. You're just gonna be like, who would do something like that? So the fact, it just makes me believe maybe he's in on it. So let's see.
It's absolutely crazy, but yeah, Marie's right. Why did he jump to his mum like straight away? Clearly, he knows that she's that way inclined, because that's a really wild thing to do. Generally, like to sneak into someone's home, like regardless of who it is, and then chop that person's hair is wild. She says she's got a pixie on one side, you know, And one a jagged awkward hair.
shoulder length on the other.
That is crazy. Like, you know, she has to now get a pixie cut, like regardless, to sort out the entire thing, she has to get a pixie cut. Like, that is really, really, really crazy. And I'm telling you right now, I'm wearing a wig right now, but if anyone decides to cut my wig, it's a problem. It's a big problem. So yeah, I feel
It's
sorry for her
violation.
because no, it's a big violation. I feel sorry for her because that does affect her relationship with her husband, because clearly he knows his mum is insane. Do you get what I mean? He knows his mum's insane and she's capable of something like that. And what does that say? Because he wasn't able to prevent that happening. Like, his mum cannot be reasoned with. So it's like, what does it do? Because he's on the side of his mum. Like, is he on the side of his mum? Like, how does that bode well for their relationship going forward? It's just, there's a lot of questions, and their relationship's now in jeopardy when it's like yesterday or 24 hours ago, they were a regular, degular, normal couple. But now I could be getting divorced because my husband might side with his mum over her cutting my hair in my sleep. Do you know how mad that is?
Over something I didn't do.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
And she's not even apologizing with the fact that it's a mistake on her part.
Yeah.
Like, she could have easily walked over to try and find out what the situation is. Because if I think I'm seeing somebody cheating, best believe I'm going to make sure that you know that I know what I've seen. I'm going to go introduce myself. Hi.
Yeah.
Nice. And however you behave will be, she didn't even investigate. She doesn't like you. She's never liked you.
There is an update, but before I read the update, my thoughts on this situation is like, the son completely knows what happened.
Yeah.
And because the way he delivered that, my mum might have been her, like, he was fully in on it. He knew that she suspected OP of cheating. He knew everything. And do you know what? I can't respect that.
That's
I can't respect
nasty.
that instead of you to talk to me,
Exactly.
you did nothing and let your mum enter our home. Like, you know, the home's supposed to be your sacred safe space. Enter the home and chop my hair. I don't know. OP might even have a special relationship with her hair, because some people do. But it's part that to one side. Like, you weren't even man enough to talk to me. You couldn't even just tell me, oh, my mum saw you at lunch with a guy. Who was that?
Yeah,
like,
why can't
she
you
didn't.
discuss it?
Like, I just hate that. Like, I can't even call him a mummy's boy. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
There has to be something wrong with him that he can't just talk to his wife.
No, but also that kind of behavior is okay for her, for the mother-in-law, and like for him, like that's, maybe she's done even like madder things that we don't know of. But if that's their norm, if that's okay with them, I personally can't be around
She
stuff
needs
like
to
that.
run.
Like, people that are crazy, I can't be around them, because first of all, my face will be showing it. Like, I don't understand why you're like that. But also, it's dangerous.
And then
It's literally dangerous
And
for
do you know
her.
what? My thing is being wrong and strong.
Yeah.
I hate that. I really, really hate that. If at the time you were wrong and strong and then you came back later and apologized, I could accept that. But there's no apology coming anytime soon to OP, and I really, really hate that.
She told her mother-in-law that the man was gay, and she still had a rebuttal. Like,
That's an unreasonable person. You know that? Like, nothing she can say will get through.
If you cut off my hair, we have beef forever.
That's
Like,
what I think as well.
It doesn't matter what apology comes after that. You violated me. It's as good as spitting on me. It's as good as whatever else you can do that could be highly disrespectful. We're never going to have the same relationship. So
Agreed.
just take it from that day forward. We will never be the same. I'm going to get a restraining order on you. And I don't care what your relationship with your son is. We will never be the same. You can never, ever apologize, and we will never regain what we had before. Whatever that was is out of the window. So, update.
And I'm cutting new keys.
Yeah.
You will never have access
Doesn't
to
matter
my house ever
because
again.
I'm assuming the son let her in.
Yeah.
The keys won't matter.
She might have access.
That's a madness, guys.
It's a big violation. Okay, so update. After the conversation we had with Diane this morning, I noticed my husband Tim was acting weird. At first, I thought it was just guilt by standing up to his mum, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened. Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come... What? Diane didn't come up with a haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her.
Sounds about right.
I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said he truly thought I was cheating on him with Carl, my gay co-worker, because Diane had convinced him that there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of weird punishment, he didn't stop her.
And that's
In
the solution.
fact, he let her into our house that night while I was sleeping.
I knew it.
Divorce immediately.
Tim said he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth.
But you wanted to cut off my hair.
Exactly. How does that make sense? What are we dealing with?
So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterward, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realise he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I was just confused." But I honestly don't know how to process this. This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic. This was both of them. And my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed my bag and I'm staying with a friend tonight while I figure out what to do. I don't know if I can ever trust Tim again after this. It's not just the haircut.
No,
It's the
never.
fact that he didn't talk to me, believe the worst about me without any proof, and actively participate in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've
Correct.
already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report on both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it will get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this. I deserve better than this.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who supported me through this. Your comments and advice have meant the world, and I'm truly grateful for the kindness and understanding. It's helping me find the strength to figure out what comes next.
It doesn't surprise me because no one will have access to your house apart from the people in your house.
But see, no, sometimes
No,
you do
some
give your key.
grandparents
Yeah,
have
yeah.
No, my
they
mum's
have
got the
access,
key.
depending on how far
It's
they
just the
live
way he
as
said it,
an
guys.
emergency contact.
It's just the way that he said it.
Do you know what, for me, okay, first things first, yeah? I want to know how they saw this playing out. Because I'm telling you right now, even if I was cheating, I'm not a cheater, guys. Even if I was cheating, you cutting off my hair is not going to cause me to confess. Do you know what it is going to cause me to do? Stand firm and never admit it.
Yeah.
And go ham as to the violation and how diabolical your act was. And I would turn tables. Even if I was the bad guy, I'm no longer the bad guy. You switch the roles and you switch the story when you cut my hair. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what did cutting off the hair, like, was that supposed to cause a confession? I don't get it. Do you know that doesn't make sense?
The mother-in-law hates her.
No, that's nasty.
Like, she's hated her from the beginning because what?
But also, there's just, for
No, but
me,
that's
there's
a mad
no...
move.
I don't...
there is no going forward with the both of them.
Absolutely
Like
not.
they literally had a little brainstorming session. What should happen next? Would okay. So the mum's gone and seen something, spoken to her son, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And between the two of these idiots, they've thought, I can go in, the mum, I'll go cut her hair. And he's like, yeah, and that'll force a confession. Where is the logic? Like, you can't trust either of them. They've
all.
violated you in.
It's everything. It's the humiliation, the violation, the ridiculousness of it that they were able to justify it. She said, Opie said when you read out, I don't know if I can trust him again. The answer is no, you can't.
You can't.
The answer is
How?
it's over.
So for
It's
every
over.
time there's an issue, you're going to hash it out with your mum and come up with one stupid harebrained idea.
Literally. Like, there's nothing to salvage here. Your marriage, your relationship is done. And if you think you can trust someone like that again, my dear, I don't know. You shouldn't even be writing in because clearly you're crazy as well.
Do you know what? Also, I just think it's so humiliating though, because
That is
I get that
awful.
when relationships break down and everyone be like, oh, like, it's so sad because, you know, people view divorce as a failure. So it's just like, even having to explain that that's what happened, that's embarrassing.
Very.
What happened? Oh, they suspected me of cheating. So between the two of them, one night he let her in and she cut my hair whilst I was sleeping.
Sorry, as you were talking, I'm remembering, and the reason why we know how humiliating it is, we had a cousin, as a teenager, she started talking to boys. Her dad was so strict. One day she was supposed to be babysitting her sisters and brothers, but she left them to go link a boy, to go see this boy in the swimming pool. Her dad went to the swimming pool, found her, dragged her home, and the punishment was he cut off all of her hair.
That happened to me.
To one level. She was embarrassed and mortified for months. Her hair took like nearly a year for her to grow back. It was the most humiliating thing. Like, I think she experienced. So that's what I'm saying. Like, do you know how mad that is?
I know exactly how she feels.
Really?
It's awful. Yeah, my mum shaved my hair off. She thought I was getting into boys. College, shaved it to level 1.
Oh.
Her and my stepdad held me down and shaved my hair off, and I had to go to school. And because obviously they held me down, I had all the scratches on my head. Wigs didn't exist. Nothing. I had to go to school, and this was not even school, sixth form, with my hair shaved. And luckily I didn't go to a mixed school. It was still a girls' school, but my friends were like, what happened between yesterday and today? And having to explain it. And even like, I remember I had because I was fighting them, I had like a scar on my thingy of how much I fought. And that feeling never left. And I remember speaking to them and they were like, we're really sorry. But I was just like, what? So I don't speak to boys.
Yeah.
That's what I get for not speaking to boys.
Yeah.
And I remember them feeling, like, obviously they apologise and stuff like that, but that was such a traumatic experience and so embarrassing, because at that age, what do you even have? You only have your beauty, being popular.
Yeah.
So the fact that they took everything away from me, I was like, I'm not even a bad kid, guys. Like, I just got interested in something and you guys decided to punish me for it. Crazy.
No,
and I remember it was a conversation between them and my dad, and between the 4 of them, they decided that was the best approach.
But that's why the first question I asked was, like, how did they see this ending? Like, did they really see it ending in confession? When it's like, I don't understand. That act alone, like, you know what? You mentioned something I hadn't thought about. It's so traumatic.
I know.
Will she be able to trust another partner? Like,
That's what I was
like,
gonna
do you
say
know how, like, the
next.
repercussions are endless?
She's going to have such big trust issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, not just with her future partner when this ends, because this has to end. Like, this relationship.
I love the fact that you're saying future.
No, it
She
has
might keep him.
This relationship has
After
no
that,
legs. If you can't trust the person you're with, then you really need
What
to
would they
get
do
it.
next?
But
that was over
listen,
an assumption. What if there was something that they actually deemed that she was actually wrong? What would they do then?
No, but wait, listen. See, the problem that I have with this situation is not only are there trust issues for her future partner, but there's trust issues with her future mother-in-law.
Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
There's so many repercussions. That's awful. I feel so sorry for her.
Okay, we have update 2. I think I'm going to divorce him, and I may file a police report. After everything that's happened, I've been thinking a lot about my next steps, and I've come to a heartbreaking but necessary conclusion. I don't think there's any coming back from this. I trusted Tim with my heart, my safety, my life, and he betrayed me in ways I never thought possible. I can't imagine a future where I feel safe with him, where I can trust him, or where I don't carry the weight of this violation every day. I'm strongly considering filing for divorce. The thought of staying with him feels unbearable, but at the same time, I can't stop worrying about the messiness of it all. I just want to cut ties completely, to walk away and rebuild my life without him or his mother dragging me down any further. As for filing a police report, I'm leaning toward it, but I'm scared of what it might bring. I know what they did was a crime. My own husband let his mother into our home to assault me in my sleep. But the thought of dealing with legal battles or even just having to relive this again and again in statements is exhausting. Part of me wants to hold them accountable, but another part just wants to run far away and never look back. Right now, I'm taking it one step at a time. I've been talking to friends, trying to find some clarity in all of this chaos. It's terrifying and painful, but I know one thing for sure. I deserve so much better than this.
Yes, you do.
Thank you to everyone who's shown me kindness and support. It means the world to me right now.
Bless
Go
her.
run.
And that's it. It's so annoying. I really want her to file that police report
Yep.
because yes, it's a crime, but also I need her to know that there are consequences for her actions
Mhm.
because I promise you this man will get in a relationship with another person and think that she could do that again, because if she doesn't suffer in any way, she'll just continue the same act.
Yep.
Whereas if a police report was filed against her and then her reputation diminishes a bit within her community, I don't know if she's an active community participant, but I promise you she will rethink, even if it is for that 1 second, whether she needs to do the same thing again.
I hope he needs to run, man. But do you know what? People like that, they've gotten away with it before, which is why they can do the things that they do. It's awful, but yeah, she needs. Hopefully, she gets the strength to leave, but we don't know, do we?
They're a crazy duo. Honestly, they're like, they really are.
It's true.
They really are. And do you know what? This is the kind of stuff that you see in like shows and movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't really think these people exist because what they did is wild. Like, no sane individual would, or sane people.
Or seemingly sane.
Yeah, same group of people would do that, because it's like, no, that's really messed up. Like, you just don't do stuff like that.
Ever.
And so at the same time, do you know what? Honestly, there needs to be consequences. And even if it is exposure, because a lot of these people do their craziness in the dark, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people, the reason why they continue their madness, and I mean that
Because
big
no
or
one
small.
brings it to the light.
Thank you. And literally, big or small, is because no one actually speaks on it. No one exposes them. And honestly, please do something, especially even if it's for the next person, like just so they're known, or just so we can Google it, small man, and see their name and just be like, oh yeah, okay, yep, avoid those people.
I know,
Like-
but when it comes to being a victim of something, it takes so much
I kn-
courage.
No, I
to-
know. That's
to
why I said
think
I
this.
know.
Like
Yeah.
it's so difficult to. First of all, you don't even want to talk about how
I
embarrassing it is, how
know.
traumatic it is, and to, like she said, to relive it again and
I
again
know.
is already too much. So do what feels best for you, but
Yeah.
the best thing to do would be to go to the police and make mum do some time if it's possible, because she
Even
deserves
community
to-
service, some kind of something.
something.
And her son, because they are a duo. So
Yeah.
As I said,
accessory to
crazy
a crime
duo.
is what her husband would get.
Get ready for another crazy story. Husband poured cold water on me while I slept. Feeling overwhelmed and looking for advice. Background. My 32 female husband, 42 male, and I have a 7-month-old baby. I exclusively nurse. In brackets, we did triple feeds the first month because he was born very small and had low blood sugars, and then switched to exclusively nursing because of the bottles, pumping, etc. were all too much for us. Baby was spitting / vomiting, etc. So we are currently only nursing, with some solids introduced during the day for texture / taste. We tried to reintroduce bottles around month 3 or 4, and the baby refused. We tried straw cup drinking around months 4 or 5, which might have been too early. It's on my to-do list to try again with straw drinking. We had some challenges at first with the solids. In brackets, he broke out in full-blown hives with the first 3 foods he tried, which spanned over about a month to allow breaks to recover between foods. I've also had various health conditions pop up since he was born, so ongoing for about 7 months now, that I've been struggling to manage. We had ants a few months ago, and I thought I had ant bites all over my feet and legs. The ant bites ended up spreading and ongoing for months, and I eventually learned they are rashes, not ant bites. My hands started to break out in rashes too, which I thought was a manifestation of my celiac, gluten intolerance. So I thought it would go away because I haven't been consuming gluten, and assumed I must have been accidentally consumed some that triggered that reaction. When the rashes persisted, I scheduled with a dermatologist, and she prescribed some creams, including a steroid and antibiotic, which have been difficult to balance because I need my hands to take care of the baby. I ordered cotton and non-latex gloves to put over the creams, but getting the time to go through the cream routine, brushing my teeth, etc., has been tough because the baby is so mum dependent right now and cries a lot with dad despite efforts for them to bond. At months 3 or 4, baby will take to dad for maybe 5 to 15 minutes total per day in 24 hours. Girl, you are getting no time. We don't have any other family support, and I'm staying home full time currently to take care of baby. Our current routine is that baby wakes up at 6:15 a.m., nurses until 6:45 a.m., hangs out with his dad until 7:45 a.m., and then dad gets ready and goes to work at 8 a.m., returns at 4 p.m. I usually sleep during that 45 minutes because after caring for the baby all night, and then in brackets it says, we also co-sleep and co-nap, please don't criticize. It is the only time I get to stretch out in bed and sleep as a solo person and can sleep on my belly or however I choose. It is my only me time, and I choose to sleep after late nights with baby eating every 3 hours because I am completely exhausted and need the energy to take care of a baby solo for the next 8+ hours. Fast forward to today. I was dead exhausted this morning, and instead of letting me sleep, my husband kept insisting I wake up and poured cold water all over my face while I was asleep. It turned into a fight. We hired someone this week as a trial week to help us meal prep because I've been struggling to prepare healthy meals for myself while also caring for a 7-month-old. We were still arguing when she was supposed to arrive, so I suggested we ask her not to come today and we'll still pay for the day and groceries, of course. He got mad, saying the world doesn't start and stop for my feelings, which is true, but we can't have a stranger in our home while we are arguing, and I was still shaken up by the morning. In brackets, husband smacking me and pouring cold water on my face to try and wake me up. When I mentioned cancelling today, he said, no, she is fired if you cancel her today. You can starve. He says I was faking being asleep, and I kept asking him not to speak on my intentions, and I wasn't fake sleeping. I was actually sleeping, although sleeping is an oversimplification. In reality, I was half asleep, half awake, half paralyzed by what was going on around me, and too exhausted to even use my words, half utterly defeated by the complete lack of emotional support I've been desperately needing. I know this post is all over the place. We are just struggling, and I don't know who to turn to for emotional support. I have been asking my husband for months for emotional support, and I'm faced with invalidation and dismissiveness, and I'm exhausted and don't know what to do. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
You said that man slapped her
Mm-hmm.
and poured cold water on her as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The silence says everything. Guys, she needs to escape. But what's really sad about this for me is that she has no one to turn to.
Yeah, it sounds
And,
like it. Yeah.
and she's also exhausted. She's doing the best that she can. And she gets an hour off.
45 minutes, actually.
Yeah, she gets barely an hour off. And she is asking for help, but instead is getting water poured over her and a smack to wake her up. This man is awful.
And gaslit. She said that he invalidates her feelings and also says that the world doesn't revolve around her feelings and doesn't stop because of her feelings. That man hates you.
So bad.
Do you know what? To quote Melinda, it only gets worse.
No, I'm telling you right now, a lot of situations only get worse. What you allow, next time will be something different and new and worse.
She needs to
Yeah.
figure out a way to exit that relationship.
Quickly.
ASAP Rocky.
Quickly.
And that's that on that.
Okay, so mine is from relationship advice. Fiancé, male 37, gave me, female 34, an ultimatum to get married. I still want to marry him, but he won't give up on it. Please help. I met Mark, fiancé, 3 years ago. It was one of the hardest times of my life, but he made it better for me and I was in love. We got engaged 5 months later and were wedding planning until the ultimatum. Before I met him, I was married to Gerard, Mel, 34. We were together since college and naturally we got married and wanted to settle down. A year into our marriage, I got pregnant and eventually gave birth to a little girl named Lana. I was so overjoyed and so was Gerard. And it felt like our family was complete. However, as Lana began growing, I noticed her becoming more attached to Gerard than she was me. She would cry non-stop if I was trying to hold her, but the moment he held her, she would stop. Her first word was Dada, and everything seemed to be for her dad and not me. I'll admit I got a little jealous and was hoping she would come around to me eventually, but she never did. And after 3 years of feeling like I meant nothing for her, I no longer wanted to be around her, as it was painful and I was resenting her. I served Gerard divorce papers and signed away my custody to him, agreeing to pay child support since I no longer wanted to even see Lana. I decided to start over, and that's when I met Mark. He never knew the full story because he knew I was uncomfortable with talking about it, but he knew I used to be married. He knew nothing about the kid and thought my payments were alimony to Gerard. However, he somehow found out, in brackets, either through one of my friends or Gerard contacting him. So far, nobody has fessed up and Mark won't say. And it's been rough. Mark said...
This woman is unbelievable.
Mark said that he wants me to try reconciliation with Lana and is upset I abandoned her. He doesn't understand the pain I went through realising the baby I gave birth to didn't love me and thinks I can just solve this like it's a sitcom and everyone can be happy in the end. Mark has given me the ultimatum that either I try reconnecting with Lana or he's calling off our engagement. He says he doesn't want to marry someone who will casually drop her kids over what he thinks is an inconvenience. I don't think Lana even remembers me, to be honest, and it'll be too painful for her if I try to talk to her again because of all the memories before I walked out of her life. I really want to marry Mark, but I don't want anything to do with Lana. Is there anything I can do to convince him not to push the ultimatum anymore? Top comment. You nuked your marriage and abandoned a 3-year-old baby because you were jealous that she bonded a little more with her dad. And you think the problem is your pain and your inconvenience. And now you're shocked, just shocked that your new fiancé is appalled at your selfish actions. No one here is going to advise you on how to trick Mark into believing that you are a decent person or have a reasonable justification for your heinous behaviour. You made your bed, now lie in it. What do you think?
This woman is outrageous. I don't really have anything to say apart from, to be honest, I think that she should stay out of the child's life. No one wants to re-invite someone that doesn't love you back into this. For what? What is she going to go back to do with Lana? What? She already doesn't like her daughter. She already doesn't like. So that whole thing, like what Mark is asking of her, I don't think it's a healthy ask. It's more for him than it is for her. She's already shown what she will do. She doesn't want the child. She doesn't want to have anything to do with her child. It's as good as giving up a child for adoption, as far as I'm concerned. So why would you then say to them, well, you need to do this? That's the person that you're marrying. Now, the only thing you need to decide is whether you want to marry her.
Yeah.
You don't need to reintroduce poor Lana into this rubbish little relationship or with a toxic mother? What are you doing? I don't think that Mark is asking the right questions. He's not even making the right decisions. You just need to know that the person you are about to marry is a crappy person. Now, do you want to marry her or not? That's the only thing at play here.
I can't believe this story. I think no, I
This
can't,
happens every
because
day.
I'm just like,
She's really
this sounds like a deadbeat dad.
She's really
this
trying to get her
sounds-
do-over. Like, oh no, that chapter's closed. I want Mark. Let's start again.
But this is no different to a deadbeat dad who
Yeah.
resents that he has to pay child support, right?
But she's not resenting the
She's not
payment.
resenting. She's
She
resenting
just-
the child. She actually resents her child.
Sorry, yeah, you're
she
right.
doesn't
you're
love
right.
her, apparently.
She resents the child because
She favours her dad.
Crazy.
my mind is blown. She's a deadbeat parent.
Mum.
And then it's just like, yeah, Mark, why would you want to be with somebody who has a child and wants nothing to do with their child?
Literally.
Like, you need to run. Like, you actually need to run. It's not, I promise you, I feel really bad for Lana. Should that woman reach out to her, it will be the worst thing that ever happened to Lana. Because Lana will feel the resentment as she grows up. She will have a terrible relationship with her mum. Whereas actually, I think she would be better off with no mum in the picture. And then hopefully her dad finds a
Remarries.
girlfriend or
Yeah.
marries and that lady treats her really well. But I'm telling you, this sounds like a bum of a parent. She's bummy, and just run, Mark. Like, that's actually my only advice. Mark, run. OP, you ain't shit. Like, you really,
Yeah.
you ain't shit as a human being. We're not gonna come here and give you advice to help you maneuver the conversation in the direction that you like. Why would we do that?
That's
I
why
think everyone's asking the wrong question, man. Mark, you're asking the wrong questions here. You're
only
even
question-
demanding the wrong thing.
the only question Mark should be asking is, can I live with this person or not? Like, can I move forward with this person or not? That's it. And based on the fact that he's given her ultimatum, the answer is no. Because she needs to do X for them to be together. So yeah, I really like top comment. It summarized everything for me
Yeah.
beautifully. Like, she's an incredibly selfish person, and no, we're not gonna help you we're not gonna help you get what you want and be a deadbeat mum to your child and ignore her and try to
Yeah.
live happily ever after as though she doesn't exist.
Do you know what, OP? Like, as I said, you know how I feel about you. But also, I do want to add, I just feel really sorry for Lana because you've now created generational trauma.
Yeah.
Because
Her mum gave her up.
mum doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Like, there's no escaping that. Even if she does have a wonderful stepmother, she'll always know that her biological mum
Yeah.
gave her up and only pays child support.
Yeah.
Okay, so my story comes from relationship advice. My 29 male girlfriend, 27 female, has a Blackmail folder on her computer. She has one on me too. What should my next move be?
I would be scared.
I would be so fearful.
Whoa.
But you know what I'll do though? Sorry, before I read the story, I would delete it.
I would delete it. I'm deleting the folder and then I'm going to trash and deleting that as well.
But before I delete it, I'm sending everything to myself.
Yeah, it's true. I want to know what she's got on me.
So, I've been with my girlfriend for about 6 months and we've had 0 big issues. We have complete opposite personalities. I always try to be chill and she's more strict and more of a decision maker. She comes from money and works for her family corporation, and she's told me that it changed her brain chemistry because she has to work really hard to be taken seriously because of her age and relation to the business. She's someone that has to have control over every decision and has a way of getting her way, even with something as simple as deciding where to eat. This hasn't bothered me too much until I found out the extent of it. She has a laptop that she guards with her life. I don't know why, but the other night when she got up to pee, she didn't close it properly And I just jumped in to snoop while she was in the bathroom. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I found a Blackmail folder of everyone from her business partners to friends and family. She had a folder on her uncle having a gay sexting session, had a folder on
Wow.
some random guy
Whoa.
cheating on his wife. I don't even know how she got it. She had screenshots of her friends' old tweets, and I even found a folder on what I think were my initials, but couldn't open it because she got back. Again, I never
Whoa.
had any issues with her, and I was going to keep dating her, but now I'm genuinely worried. Maybe I'm paranoid. I haven't done anything bad, but what if she took pictures of me without me knowing or something like that? I'd be so embarrassed. I don't know what to do, genuinely. Top comment, break up with her.
Yeah.
She seems like
Straight to the point.
she seems like a vengeful person
Yeah.
and readily armed to destroy whoever betrays her. Just tell her in these 6 months you've really enjoyed the time you spent together, but you've realized you're entirely different people. You respect and admire her work ethic, but you're not so organized about every single detail. You're carefree, chill, laid back, and prefer a lifestyle and partner who can match your personality. That you both do have opposite personalities, and in the long run, you don't see this truly working out. Basically, tell her something she can believe, lie if you have to, and run in capital letters. Don't even bother deleting that folder or bringing it up. Leave as amicably as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Do not piss her off. She is vindictive. She prefers to ruin someone's life. This is not wife material unless you're in the mafia.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the exit strat here. I feel like with people like that, they have to be in control of the exit. Like she has to be the one to break up if it's going to be a clean slate for you. I don't know that this lovely little conversation that you're going to have to try and convince her or say the right things is going to make her feel any better. I think if she's not in control of it, as if it's not her breaking up with you, she doesn't have a reason to break up with you. You are more liable to be exposed for whatever it is that she wants to be exposed. People like that don't need that much of a reason. So in short, you're in danger. Like I don't really see an out. This suggestion, I don't think it's the best suggestion. Not because it's not a clever one, but with people like that, having logic is not really the answer because that's quite a logical answer that you've given. But this is someone who's always armed and ready.
Yeah.
So that means that whenever she doesn't get her way, she will use whatever she can to get her way. So what if you say to her you want to break up and then she presents you with this folder? Then what?
No, but for me, it sounds like the most rational and reasonable way to exit
Yeah, it's
that
definitely
relationship.
rational. Yeah.
Like, for me, do you know what? Because she's vindictive, there should technically not be any reason for her to expose or do him dirty if he hasn't done her dirty. Because that's what the folder should be there for, yeah? Like, as retaliation,
Yeah.
as opposed to like first defense and like for no reason. But she's dangerous.
Absolutely.
Like, so dangerous. Like, she should really work for the mafia, work for FBI, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, put her vindictive research, I don't know, like those kind of skills to good use. But no, she's really dangerous. He needs to get out because it's not healthy. Like, do you know how unhealthy it is to like hold and also like hold a mental note, whether like obviously with her she's actually got digital, but hold a mental note of anyone that's done you wrong. Do you know how unhealthy that is?
No,
But
it's
this
not
girl
even anyone
doesn't.
that's done you wrong. She's just got it
No,
just
but
in case.
that's what I'm saying. But it's a huge load, you know, because you can't like keep that on your chest. Like literally, it's like you're always ready to be vindictive. Like you're always ready for revenge. It's a certain type of personality, and honestly, it's not a good one. So yeah, the best thing he can do is run like quickly.
Yeah. Do you know what? I agree with Marie. She does. We need to remember she needs to be in control at all times. So what OP needs to do is I half agree. Actually, no, I don't agree with the top comment at all. So I think what needs to happen is he needs to find a way to copy and paste everything to his email address, so he has everything just in case he needs to use it against her. And then he needs to find a way to get her to break up with him.
Yeah.
Because that allows her to be in control of the situation, right? What he needs to do, it's really easy, is if she needs to feel like she's controlling everything, the best way to get her to break up with him is to control everything for her. Get to the point that she can't stand it. It's too much. Like, he's controlling. Because she normally has to have the control. So it's like, start arguing with her over everything. If she says she wants to go to McDonald's, you're not going McDonald's, you're going KFC. Like, just override every single decision that she makes. It will start to really grate on her nerves.
What is
and
this?
Then
This isn't a relationship.
But you
it's
have
not
to have
a
an exit
relationship.
chat.
It's
That's
not a
not-
relationship. But you know what? It's so tactical. And if she's as controlling as she is,
know.
I promise you, the breakup's going to happen quite quickly.
But
as well.
But this for me is stressful. It's
But
sounding
Melinda,
so stressful.
But what's the
But she
opposite?
also-
But what's the alternative? Because he thinks that there's a folder of him. He
No,
might not have
I
any.
know. I'm just saying, in this life, a relationship should not cost me this.
I hear that.
It should
but
not
in his
cost
mind,
so much stress.
In his mind, he hasn't done anything wrong. But
That he
to
thinks
her,
of,
to
'cause-
her, that's what I'm saying. To
Yeah.
her, he might have. So instead of him to, unfortunately, even exiting nicely and ending it, that could be the straw that broke the camel's back. And then suddenly she goes and attacks him in different ways, online, socially, to his parents, to his friends. You don't know what she has on him. He doesn't know what she has on him. So the
Agreed.
best way is get her to be in control of the breakup.
No,
and
agreed.
then she has no reason to attack him afterwards.
But
Yes, can I just say,
also-
sorry, can I just say this reminds me of Tell Me Lies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the mixed race girl forced the guy to break up with her because he knew the one thing that was unattractive to him was unambitious people,
Yeah.
like failures, right? And so she presented that she failed her exams.
Exactly.
And so she couldn't go to law school that year.
And didn't she
et
have
cetera.
such a nice clean break?
Oh my God.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I also think that with people like that, you have to expose them for exactly who they are. So what he needs to do is the same way she has a blackmailing folder of everyone, he needs to have evidence of who she is so that if he can't get a clean break, he can also say, but look what I have on you.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get out.
See, do you know what I would do? I wouldn't say, look what I've got on you. I would say, I have your folder. I have this copied. If you even come for me, I'm sending it to everyone.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's,
That's
it,
enough.
done. You
Those are
detonate
the-
that and
Yeah.
she is finished.
Yeah.
Because
People don't know who she is.
People don't know her character.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
But that's why I
Like,
said he needs to have a copy of that.
Otherwise, he
guys.
has nothing to stand on. The way she's
Guys.
got, the things that she's doing to people is what he needs to do to her.
I know, but guys, should a relationship have you doing strategy?
But
But
instead
the
of
thing is,
copy
she's not in a
paste
But let me tell
relationship.
you, but Melinda,
That's
instead of all of this
crazy.
worry and question, it is what it is, and this is where we are. And it's like, what would you do next? We've now
know.
given you a
That's
plan of
crazy.
action. You'll just sit here one corner crying about the situation. No, we have a plan.
Oh no, you know I'm solution oriented, so there's no way I'll just be sitting here doing nothing. I will do something, but at the same time, I just think, and this isn't even my situation, but I just think, wow, like when we get all of these dilemmas, a lot of them, I'm like, I'm sorry. A relationship shouldn't cost you this. Do you know what I mean? Don't you sometimes think like, whoa,
I know.
guys,
I
like,
think we're about a lot of these stories.
yeah, I'm like, wow, you're really going through it. And it's just like, I don't think a lot of things should really cost you your mental health, your safety. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well, just for a relationship. It's crazy.
And this is 6 months in.
That's crazy. Imagine what her future husband and kids will go through, guys. Can you imagine?
Well,
Whoa.
so the last story is from Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for not staying with my wife after her C-section? My wife was admitted to hospital for an induction of our second child. She had a rough time during her first pregnancy as it was during lockdown. I was not allowed to stay during this time, so she asked that I stay each night with her during this pregnancy. She gets quite anxious and wanted me there for support during the night, as she didn't feel comfortable asking the night staff. We came to the hospital 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, where she was put on a ward and started on hormones. The labour wasn't progressing very quickly, so she told me to go home around 9 a.m. as she needed me when the baby came. I came back in the evening and she told me to go home and rest around midnight. I came up Monday morning and spent the day with her and went home around 5 to spend time with our daughter, staying with my parents. I got a call at 1 a.m. Tuesday from her. She thought she was in labour, but didn't think the staff were taking her seriously. I rushed up to the ward. Baby was born 3 hours later via an emergency C-section. We were moved around a fair bit until we settled in a ward around 4 p.m. on Tuesday, both extremely tired, hurt obviously much more, but we managed a few hours as they had a little sofa I could lay down on. I got up throughout the night to help with baby so she could rest. Wednesday, we had a nap during the day, but I stayed all day. This is where the question arose. The baby was noted to have a health problem, so has been taken for further tests. I took the baby as my wife had trouble walking during the pregnancy due to pelvic pain. This has continued, and so she was in a lot of pain quite often, combined with the surgery. They needed to move us to another ward to observe the baby, but this ward does not have the pull-out beds for partners. I have lower back pain, so I've carried a cushion around to alleviate it while she's in hospital. It doesn't do much, but it means I can sit in the chairs for a bit rather than needing to lie down. I've told my wife that I couldn't stay as I wouldn't be able to sit in a chair all night with no sleep. She expected me to stay the night and continue to help her out during the day. I feel really bad about it, but I wouldn't be able to sleep at all, and sitting in the chair would further screw up my back. Then I'd be of no use the next day without sleep and back pain. I set everything up for my wife to make it easier for her during the night. I spoke to the staff and told them how anxious she is and she'd need extra help, and told my wife to ask for help when she needed it. I left at 12 a.m. and came back when the doors opened the next morning. I've been taking over during the day and letting her rest when she wanted to. My argument is that I can't physically stay awake all night and all day, although I'd agreed to stay all night with her before admission. I thought at least I'd be able to lie down. Am I the arsehole? Everyone frozen?
Go on.
May, Melinda, present.
I don't know.
Okay, no, he wasn't the asshole because he has medical issues. Like he's injured.
back.
Yeah.
He's got an actual back injury, and it just he's doing everything he can to be present. So
Yeah.
he leaves really late and he tries to get there as early as possible. He's doing everything that he can. Honestly, Opie, you're not the asshole.
Yeah, I don't think he's an asshole, but why are you going to divorce though? Like that just sounds like such a extreme.
Where did he mention divorce?
Thank you.
Didn't you say that he's?
Top
my
comment, not the
God.
arsehole. I've been the wife post C-section. Our kid got readmitted when she was 3 days old, and I had to stay with her, attempting to feed her, pump, and give her the bottle every hour. It was the worst night of my life, but my husband was dead on his feet. He needed to go home, get some actual sleep so he could help us the next day. He needed enough rest to safely drive us home again. It's an awful situation, but you're not the arsehole. I can't honestly call your wife an arsehole either. I have some PTSD from that night and would never want to do it again. The two of you are against the rubbish situation together and not against each other. I don't think he's the arsehole either. I just think it's just one of those really rubbish situations where you kind of have to leave your loved one so you can be better for the next day.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
she's in a hospital. She's not by herself. So she's getting the help that she needs.
Yes.
And that's it.
And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Drop your story suggestions, any subreddits that you want us to comment on, and we will see you on the next one.
Next week's going to be even better, so don't miss it.
Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye.